Hello, and I hope you're having a fantastic week. We have been busy at the Small Business Development Center, helping so many people to try to either start their businesses, grow their businesses, and protect their businesses, throughout this pandemic. Unfortunately, today our discussion is about additional protections that need to be put in place or you need to be aware of with regard to your business. And it's not necessarily something that you're doing wrong, but we have found that there are a number of people who have made it their business to try to victimize many customers who are trying to make decisions, trying to make an impact upon doing the right things for their business that's going to save their business. Unfortunately, today's subject is about fraud. It's about scam. It's about scammers. It's about frauders. And so the subject of the day is beware of scams and the fraud schemes. So with that as our subject, what I'd like to talk about today is the fact that there are different sides to fraud. There are different sides to scams. Today, we're going to talk about it at three different levels, about three different subjects from the victim standpoint, from you, the small business standpoint, things that you need to be aware of, things that you need to be made to understand, to be on the lookout for. So as we think about these items, we need to understand that the Office of the Inspector General, which is a legal office, one of the highest ranking offices in our federal government. First of all, they recognize that we are facing unprecedented times, and they are alerting the public about potential fraud schemes related to economic stimulus programs offered by the United States Small Business Administration in response to the coronavirus pandemic, COVID-19. And we want to also make sure that the CARES Act, which stands for Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security, that the largest financial assistance bill to date includes provisions to help small businesses. But in addition to that, it's tempting for a lot of people to do some things that are just purely unethical, purely illegal, purely manipulative of others. Fraudsters have already begun targeting small business owners during these economically difficult times. We need you to be on the lookout for people who are looking to provide fraud as it relates to grants or as it relates to loans, as it relates to phishing. Let me insert this right here. There are a number of packages and programs that are being provided by the Small Business Administration and the United States government. Paycheck protection programs, economic injury disaster loans, restaurant revitalization funds, shuttered venue operators grant, and the list goes on and on and on. And within one of the things that all of those have in common is that there are billions and billions of dollars that are being made available to very needy small businesses. They need these funds. However, some people cannot resist the temptation to try to illegally extract some of those funds for themselves. That's what the context of today's conversation is about. So whether you've applied for a grant, whether you're applying for a loan, or whether somebody is approaching you to try to get some of your personal information, those are the things, those are the areas that we're concerned about today. So let's talk about grants, and we're going to try and break it down in these three areas. When we talk about grants, first of all, we recognize that the SBA only communicates using the @sba.gov email. If you receive an email from someone pretending to be with the federal government and it does not have @sba.gov, your alert system should immediately go off. If you're being contacted by someone claiming to be from the SBA who is not using an official email address, you should suspect fraud immediately. I'll tell you shortly what you should do in that instance. But with the number of grants that are out there, the United States government is only issuing information and only responding to our clients using the SBA.gov. If it's coming from the Small Business Administration, if it's coming from the IRS, it's going to be IRS.gov, or another agency is going to be that agency.gov. If you suspect that the people who are contacting you are not using the right designations, you should cease and desist immediately. If you go to SBA.com, guess what? That is not an appropriate email address or website address from the government. Let's talk about loans, because there are plenty of loan programs out there. As I stated earlier, there are a number of them. But if you're contacted by someone promising to get an approval of an SBA loan, but they require a payment up front, and they're offering a high interest bridge loan in the interim, suspect that that is a fraudulent offer. Again, if they're asking you to pay them up front, or they're saying we can bridge you until your money comes in, suspect fraudulent activity. Let's also talk about the fact that the SBA has already put into place a maximum schedule, a maximum schedule. The maximum anyone would pay for those services would be $30,000. But long before we get to that $30,000, let's break down what the rest of the fee schedule looks like. So if you have a loan up to $50,000, your interest fee, your fees for your brokerage is only going to be 3% if it's $50,000 or less. If it's from between $50,000 and $1 million, the broker fees are only going to be a maximum of 2%, with an additional 0.25% on amounts over $1 million. The maximum amount, the maximum fee is $30,000. Any attempt to charge more than these fees is inappropriate and should be reported to the Small Business Administration. Now, this will not be the first, or this will not be the last time you'll see these numbers. But if you have any questions about getting an SBA disaster loan, you can call 800-659-2955. Or you can send an email to disastercustomerservice@sba.gov. You can also contact our local SBDC, and I'll give you that information at the end. Now, if you have any questions about any of the SBA lending products, any questions about the SBA lending products, and I've already told you there are a number of them ranging from PPP, PPP forgiveness, PPP reconsideration, and the list goes on and on and on. If you have any questions about any of that, please call 1-800-827-5722. Or you can email answerdesk@sba.gov. That's 800-827-5722. Or send an email to answerdesk@sba.gov. So that's in regard to loans. So let's talk about phishing, because phishing is an exercise where someone sends you an email and they are trying to get you to give them some personal information about yourself. Their intention would be to go and to use that information to either cause you harm or to profit them. Phishing is very dangerous. If you're in the process of applying for an SBA loan and you receive email correspondence asking for personal information, and forgive me for that misspelling, ensure that the reference application number is consistent with the actual application number. Any correspondence you receive from the SBA regarding a loan or the grant, if your application is in process, it's going to be assigned a number. If that number is not on that app, it's not on that email or not on that information, then you have every reason to be suspicious, because the government utilizes your application number as a way of tracking your loan and the progress and the process as it goes through their systems. Now, look out for phishing attacks or scams utilizing the SBA logo. Scammers are extremely creative. They can create a web page, they can create a website that emulates the any company out there. And there are some companies out there that are really trying to do the right thing. The federal government is not the only one distributing funds to help small businesses survive the coronavirus. But the point here is that if you are operating, if you are working with a company and they send you to a website, just because that website has the official logo for the SBA on it, does not mean that it is an authorized website. Does not mean that they do not have intentions that are not good for you. So we encourage you to be very cautious. We encourage you to be very observant. And we also encourage you to be very diligent in following up to make sure that what you're dealing with is legitimate. And at the very end of the day, follow your intuition. If something does not seem right, it more than likely is not right. Any email communications from the SBA, again, as I stated earlier, will have SBA.gov at the end of it. Not SBA.com, not SBA.net, not SBA.anything other than SBA.gov. And again, I'm going to highlight this again. The presence of an SBA logo on a web page does not guarantee the information is accurate and endorsed by the SBA. Please cross-reference any information you receive with information available at www.sba.gov. If you suspect that you are a victim of fraudulent activities, I'd like to present to you a phone number and an email. The phone number would be 1-800-827-5722. That's 1-800-827-5722. If you want to send an email so you have documented records of your report and of your request, send it to disaster customer service at sba.gov. That's disaster customer service at sba.gov. Now, in addition to that, feel free to reach out to the Tarrant Small Business Development Center. Here at the Tarrant Small Business Development Center, we are an extension of the Small Business Administration through the America's Small Business Development Centers Network. So if you have any questions regarding the information that you need or that you're receiving or the inquiries that you're getting, and you need help or assistance in identifying the legitimacy of that information or that request, please feel free to call us at 817-515-2600. That's 817-515-2600. Feel free to reach us via our website at Tarrant SBDC.org. That's Tarrant Small Business Development Center, or Tarrant SBDC.org. And we will be more than happy to assist you and walk you through whatever questions you may have regarding the process or the project that you're working on. It's been our pleasure to bring you this information today, and we look forward to bringing you more information in the very near future, again, talking about fraud, talking about the right way to access information, the right way to ensure that your applications are being received and processed, and not sharing the wrong information through the wrong vehicles. It's been a pleasure. My name is Rodney Johnson, and I didn't introduce myself, but I do have the awesome privilege of serving as the director for the Tarrant Small Business Development Center, located in Tarrant County, Texas. We're associated with Tarrant County College. We're also associated with the state of Texas, as well as the Small Business Administration. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.